Good morning, everybody. This is Alyssa Cedillo from True of Life Counseling Center, and I just wanted to make you guys aware of some of your rights. I attended a training today on Texas immigration and laws, a lot of things that are changing within our states. Please be advised that this is not legal advice, but I don't want y'all guys to be uninformed or unaware. We'll do our best to provide this video as well in Spanish. But just so that we can get started, please know I may be shuffling some papers around because I want to make sure I get all this information to you. But when a police officer stops you, they are legally allowed to stop and ask you information for no reason. They don't need to have probable cause. You are legally allowed to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to not have a conversation with them, and it's very clear. While there are some red cards being passed around that say the Fifth Amendment rights in both English and Spanish, those are great, but I would highly encourage our communities to teach each other how to say in English, Fifth Amendment, and that you would like a lawyer. Because some of the things are the fact that the police agencies are not required to be truthful. They're allowed to be deceptive. Unfortunately, there are people coming to doors pretending to be knocking on doors to give out the Bible or asking information like, do you want a job? Right? And so, in the end of the day, if someone's not coming to your door, we need to ask them if they're law enforcement or if they're ICE agents. They are still not required to be honest about that. But we need to be, when an enforcement officer stops us, we're not required to have a conversation with them. Once detained, we are required by law to provide our name, address, and date of birth. You are not required to give any information about immigration status or legal status. Um, if an officer does come to your door, whether they're ICE agents or a regular officer, they're not allowed to enter your property without consent. And I would highly suggest, and what was suggested to me is that we ask this information through the door, through a window, because as soon as you open the door, unfortunately, officers will take that upon themselves many times to push their way through. If they are saying that they have a warrant for your property, they can slide that warrant under the door. It must be signed by a judge, and it must state what they're searching. Usually, they're very broad and inclusive, but administrative warrants are not something that you have to comply with. That's something you will contact your lawyer about, and we can go forward from there. Any other warrants you must comply with, but again, they must be signed by a judge. When an officer stops you, please ask them, am I free to go? You are not required to stay if you're not detained, although they are allowed to engage in something called a temporary detention, whereas if they feel like there's a cause, they can hold you temporarily while they look for evidence or information. So if an officer does say, yes, you are detained, that is exactly when we are going to, again, remind you to invoke your Fifth Amendment right for not to self-incriminate. And that doesn't matter whether you're a legal citizen of the US or not. I would highly encourage all of us to begin now to drag our feet. There is no reason why we need to be assisting people in deportations. A lot of the laws that are being placed are very punitive. Right now, there are some laws being put into place if Senate Bill 4 passes, that if individuals are asked if they want to just sign a piece of paper, that they can sign that and they're immediately deported, expedited. But that can mean a lot of different things in the future for you. I know that there's going to be a lot of questions here. I can't tell you that I know the answers, but I will tell you that we will do our best to continue to be taking every opportunity to learn more, to find out more, to make sure that you are protected and to make sure that you know your rights. Um, Locations, a big one, private practice owners and hospitals. Please be aware that if you are a place where you are accepting Medicaid, if you are accepting CHIP, or if you're an acute care hospital, you are legally required to ask individuals if they are of their immigration status. If you are not an acute care center, if you're not accepting those, you are not legally required. It is also important to know that even if we are required to ask, it does not mean the individual is required to answer. We'll be providing some more information specific to children coming out, but I will say protect your children, let them know their rights, and we do need to make sure that at this time, if there is a possibility of deportation, that you are getting all documents in arrangement and have a person that you can make sure that they know where all of these documents are, such as birth certificates, school records, medical information, so that if something happens where you are deported, that information is easily accessible to the caretaker. And unfortunately, we do need to be including our children in these conversations. While we don't want to be alarmist and we don't want to terrify them, we do have to be realistic so that maybe things like programming in their phone a number or having them keep a number on their person at all times of who they are to call if they are unsure what to do. This is a safe person. that this is somebody that you have given information to and who is legally able to pick up your child. Right now at the schools, it's also important to list a number of individuals that you trust to pick up your child just in case something happens. Again, I do not put this information out excitedly or am unaffected by all of this, but it is important that we do the best we can to take care of each other right now and keep each other fully informed. So, as more information comes in, we will continue to report and we'll continue to give you as much information as possible. And we will do our best to provide these in both English and Spanish. Please know that on Tree of Life property, it is posted that it is private property, and police officers and ICE agents are not permitted to enter our property or to be around or near our property without consent. Oh, I'll take that back. They can be around the property, but they can't be on property. Our policy is that we will not be having conversations or engaging with any ICE officers or police agencies at this time, as laws are changing and we are seeing a higher degree of federal and state cooperation with immigration. Please keep each other safe, keep yourself safe, and we thank you for all that you are doing out there and taking care of each other, united in solidarity. Tree of Life Counseling Center.